Episode 24: Why Childhood Still Controls Adults. Most people think of childhood as something that happened long ago, a chapter that ended, a distant collection of memories, something left behind. Yet psychology tells a different story. The child grows older, the body changes, responsibilities increase, life moves forward. But many of the psychological patterns formed during childhood continue influencing behavior for decades, often without awareness, often without permission, and sometimes without mercy. Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud both recognized the enormous influence of early life. Although they disagreed on many things, they shared one important belief: the experiences of childhood help shape the foundation of adulthood. Imagine constructing a building. Everything depends on the foundation, the structure, the stability, the future growth. Most people never see the foundation once the building is complete, yet it influences everything above it. Childhood works much the same way. The experiences of early life become the psychological foundation of the personality. Many of the beliefs adults hold about themselves were formed before they fully understood the world. A child repeatedly criticized may begin believing they are not good enough. A child repeatedly ignored may begin believing they are unimportant. A child repeatedly abandoned may begin fearing rejection. These beliefs rarely develop consciously. The child does not sit down and analyze them. The beliefs emerge naturally from experience. And because they form so early, they often feel like facts rather than conclusions. Years later, the child becomes an adult. The circumstances change. The environment changes, the people change. Yet the belief remains. The adult continues reacting to the world through an old psychological lens. Consider someone who constantly fears rejection. Perhaps as a child they experienced criticism, abandonment, or emotional neglect. The original situation may be long gone, yet every disagreement now feels threatening. Every criticism feels personal. Every conflict feels dangerous. The adult is not only responding to the present moment, they are also responding to the past. Most people never realize this. They assume their reactions are entirely about current circumstances. Freud believed otherwise. He believed childhood experiences continue influencing behavior long after conscious memory fades. The conscious mind forgets, the unconscious remembers. He believed that unresolved emotional patterns become part of the unconscious psyche. The person may no longer remember the original event, yet the emotional structure remains active, like a program running quietly in the background, influencing relationships, decisions, fears, expectations, and reactions. This explains why some people seem trapped in recurring patterns. They repeatedly enter similar relationships, experience similar disappointments, encounter similar conflicts. Different people, different years, different circumstances. Yet the emotional experience remains strangely familiar. The pattern repeats because the lesson remains unresolved. The unconscious seeks completion. Many people attempt to solve adult problems with adult solutions. Yet the root of the problem may exist much earlier. A person who constantly seeks approval may be responding to unmet childhood needs. A perfectionist may be responding to childhood criticism. A people pleaser may be responding to childhood fear of rejection. An overly independent person may be responding to childhood experiences of disappointment. The adult behavior makes sense once the childhood pattern becomes visible. This realization can be uncomfortable because it forces people to look backward, and many prefer not to. Some fear blame, others fear pain, others fear what they might discover. Yet understanding the past is not about blame. It is about awareness. Awareness creates freedom. Without awareness, old patterns remain invisible. Invisible patterns are difficult to change. Imagine trying to escape a maze while blindfolded. You continue hitting the same walls, not because you lack effort, because you lack visibility. Psychological patterns work the same way. The problem is often not effort, the problem is awareness. Another reason childhood remains powerful is that children learn about themselves through relationships. A child cannot independently determine their value. They learn through experience, through parents, through teachers, through caregivers. Through repeated interactions, the child asks unconscious questions. Am I loved? Am I safe? Do I matter? Am I enough? The answers become psychological beliefs, and those beliefs often remain active throughout adulthood. This is why two people can experience the same event and react completely differently. The event interacts with different psychological foundations, different emotional structures, different beliefs. The present activates the past. Many adults spend years fighting symptoms: anxiety, insecurity, fear, relationship problems, low self-worth. Yet the symptoms often point toward deeper patterns that began much earlier. Jung believed genuine growth requires bringing these patterns into awareness, not to remain trapped by the past, but to become free from it. The goal is not endless analysis. The goal is understanding. Once you understand a pattern, you gain options. You stop confusing old beliefs with reality. You stop assuming every fear is a fact. You stop assuming every insecurity tells the truth. You begin seeing the difference between what happened and what you concluded about what happened. This distinction changes everything, because many adults are not trapped by childhood experiences. They are trapped by childhood conclusions. Conclusions formed by a younger mind trying to understand a complicated world. Conclusions that may no longer be true, yet remain unquestioned. The moment those conclusions become visible, change becomes possible. The fear can be challenged, the belief can be examined, the pattern can be interrupted, the cycle can begin breaking. This is why awareness is so powerful. Awareness transforms automatic reactions into conscious choices. Perhaps this is the most important lesson. Childhood influences adulthood, sometimes profoundly, but influence is not destiny. The past shapes you. It does not define you. The experiences that formed you are real. The wounds are real. The lessons are real. But your future is not required to repeat your past. The moment you begin understanding the foundation beneath your behavior, you begin gaining the power to rebuild it. And that is where real transformation begins. Not by denying the past, not by blaming the past, but by understanding it and choosing what happens next.